everyone, and welcome back to Devils United for the prediction stream, Group C for the Euro 2022. With me today, I've got Chloe, and Chloe, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Maisy. Thank you for having me on again. And of course, I'm repping the Netherlands for today's group stage, and I can see you're repping one of my rivals.
Yep, I certainly am repping the rivals. And how are you? Who are you repping?
I'm not too bad. I know people have obviously missed us last week, but obviously we've needed a bit to study these teams a little bit. No, who am I repping? I'm repping, basically overtired and underpaid. So probably that'll be what Switzerland. No, they just agreed an equal pay deal. Actually, what's the other one in the group?
Sweden.
Oh God, I'm not pretty enough to represent Sweden. I'm just tired. I'm just here, but I'll help you out.
You're just neutral.
Yeah.
I'm waving the white flag here for today.
Maybe for the next group, when we do the next group, we'll be a bit more. We'll have a bit more rivalry.
I'm sure we will. Hey there to Vincent, who's in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. And Vincent there said she's wearing the Netherlands shirt. Good job, Louis van Gaal isn't the manager of the women's team. We would sign no Dutch players for our women's team.
I can agree with that, Vincent. I can agree with that.
So we'll go on to our first game here, which is Portugal versus Switzerland. Portugal actually got into the Euros because of the Russia situation. So they was the team who was in the runners-up for the playoffs. So they got in through that way. Switzerland as well, they automatically got into the Euros anyway. But Chloe, what's your prediction?
I think it's going to be a tight game because I think with Portugal and what they've had to go through, they had to play the playoffs against Russia, get beat by Russia, and then how long's it been? A month, 2 months, and they only got told 1 or 2 months before the Euros that they were actually participating in the Euros. Yeah. So it's for me. I think Portugal can be a dark horse in this group.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, and I know they played yesterday. I think it was against Greece, if I'm right. So they've played a friendly already, and some of these teams haven't played friendlies. So it's gonna be for me. It's gonna be a good match, and it's gonna be one of them where we're gonna find out what these Portuguese players are like, because if anyone has the sticker album, like we all represent here,
mm-hmm.
we are yet to get the Portuguese team. So we can't. We've been unable to study, so that's why we've had to have an extra week to study him. So
being a glamorous assistant.
I know a little bit about Portugal. Don't worry. The majority of them are basically Sporting and Benfica players. There is one Anna who's played for Atletico Madrid and also for Chelsea. Overall, I think this team is a bit more of an older team compared to other teams in the Euros. I'm gonna get the squad up with Sporting. They have actually recently won a trophy. They won Taça de Portugal. Benfica has been the champions of Portugal for such a long time as well. So it's gonna be a difficult one. But there's all the players anyway who's currently in the Portugal squad, and you look at them, a lot of them are over the age of 30.
Yeah, I think the one that I remember and I know a bit about is the one we've said already, Anna Borges, she's played at Atletico Madrid, she's played at Chelsea, and she's a fantastic defender. And if you look there, she's had 125 appearances for Portugal and scored 9 goals, and that's as a defender.
Yeah.
So for me, she's an excellent player. She's an excellent talent, and I think as well, Claudia Neto as well. She's one I've heard of. She plays for Fiorentina at the minute. She's the captain of Portugal, and she's a midfielder. And I think she's one of the all-round. I think she's got the most appearances for the Portuguese women's team. I have a feeling of, at 131 appearances and 19 goals. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got two outstanding players there who I think are the main source of the Portuguese team. So, and if you scroll down to the forwards, please, Maisy, if you don't mind.
There is actually one from Aston Villa.
Yeah. So.
Don't tell Smart Skinner we might buy her.
But if you see there, they're only showing four forward players, and the majority of them that they're showing are midfielders. So we're not even getting a good look at their forwards. Whereas on the Swedish team, you've got the likes of Anna Maria who plays for Barca, Backman. You've got them players. So I think it is going to be a tough one. But I think my prediction will be 2-1 Switzerland.
And what are you going to go for, Andy?
Well, as a resident expert on the Portuguese women's team, no, it's one of those. I think that sort of rings a point, isn't it? Because Portugal is seen as quite a strong country in the men's game. I'm not too sure where they rank in relation to the women's game. It would be interesting to see what their world ranking is. If that's anywhere easy to find. I have a feeling they're probably going to be quite low, lower than Italy, possibly. I mean, obviously, there's obviously 30th.
Yeah.
So okay, so not. I mean, how many teams are in the Euros when you add it all up? Is it 6?
So there's 20. There's 24 because it's 16 because there's 4 groups. Is there?
I think this is based off the world. What I'm doing off.
That's all the teams.
Yeah, so it's so they're there and thereabouts. So maybe not as weak as they look. I mean, obviously, looking at, as you say, Claudia Pinto jumps out as a captain. Claudia Nito jumps out as a captain. 34, but then I suppose being an older squad, less likely to be overawed by the occasion. But then saying that, obviously, I don't think they've been to Euros before. I'm not sure, or if they have, it might have been a while ago. Switzerland is quite a strong team. Again, we don't know much about them. The only one I know is Adriana Leon.
And I know Aisha from Aston Villa.
Yeah, but she's not in the squad because of mental health.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, it's hard to tell. I would say, though, just based on the fact that Switzerland obviously have been aware that they're in the Euros a lot longer than Portugal have, I would say 3-0 Switzerland.
3-0 Switzerland. Interesting. For me, I've actually gone for a Portugal win.
You're repping the shirt you got, aren't you?
Well, nah. But I think, though, that this is going to be the team where Portugal are going to feel the most comfortable with, because the Netherlands are already the Euro champions. You've got as well Sweden, who's such a strong side. They're actually ranked 2nd in the world. So they're not the lowest ranked team actually in the Euros. I think it's the Northern Ireland who is.
Northern Ireland, yeah.
Yeah, so I think knowing that they've just come in here out of that kind of under them kind of circumstances, they're gonna want to try and do the best, and knowing that there is players in that team who's had so much experience as well. Most of them have recently won a trophy. I think that also plays in their favour. I think it is going to be a tough game. Looking at the recent games between Portugal and Switzerland, out of 3 of them, Portugal's actually won 2 of them. So
now she tells us that after we've
now I tell you that. I've done my research.
So now she goes, my prediction is going to be 3-2 to Portugal. Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, everyone else has gone for a Switzerland win, so I've been the dark horse one.
Also known as a winner, probably. We'll find out in a few weeks.
Hey there to Chris, who's in the chat. I hope you're well. Hey there to Ravi as well. I hope you are well. Hey there to Nippon. I hope you're well. Hey there to I Like Coffee. I hope that you are well also. And hello to Ankit. Good to see you as well. I've not seen you in so long. Keep up with the channel. You're doing so well. I watch it when I've got the time to. You've been brilliant on there. And hey there to Luca. I hope you are well. So yeah, that is the first prediction, and we'll go on to the second one now. Netherlands versus Sweden. Considering Chloe's going to be the biased one with the Netherlands top, I'm going to go for Andy first.
I knew you're doing that, Maisy.
It's funny because all I'm going to be around the 9th of July is sleep deprived because, as Chloe reminded me recently, we're actually doing Bramall Lane, so we're going to be there in the stadium, which would be fantastic. Which you see, the thing about the Euros was they opened up all the ticket windows, right, since February 2021. Mm-hmm. So I started off going, oh yeah, I'll get tickets for Old Trafford in the final, and then we got tickets for something else and something else and something else and something else. And now basically the BBC journalists are traveling less than I am in 2 weeks in that July. And, after that, we're going down to Brighton on the Sunday. And then we've got a run of 4 games actually in 4 days. And then another game as well after that. And obviously we're doing 9 games in total. Netherlands, Sweden. I think it's going to be one where there's going to be a marker put down. I think, again, this is possibly where our bias comes from because we probably can name, well, I certainly can name more Dutch players than I can Sweden players, but the facts don't lie. Sweden's at a higher ranking. So I think it's going to be a tight game. Depends on what Dutch team turns up probably is the best thing on that. Whether or not Miedemar's going to be firing on all cylinders. Jackie Groningen seems to score in orange, so maybe she'll score, which will be cool to see who were there. Sweden, obviously you've got Magdalena Eriksson from Chelsea. You've got some great big names there as well. I know I'm going to use my cheat sheet before you tell me the history of it. I'm going to look at in my sticker book. Honestly, Panini need to sponsor us for this. I think.
True say, because we've been repping this book quite a lot, and looking at it, Netherlands has won the Euros last time round 2017. And Sweden last won in 1984 when they actually made their debut in the tournament.
And of course, they've got Blackstenius, haven't they, as well? Sweden, I forgot about that. We've also got a player.
Black who? Who you talking about?
Obviously, this isn't including the squad that's been chosen, but based on some of the clubs that we're looking at as well. I'm hoping for a good game, partly because of the fact I'm going to be there. So it'd be funnier if I went against Holland because Chloe will go mad. But I love it. I love an attacker. I'm attacking minded. So I've got to say it's going to be. I'm going to say it's going to be 2-1 Holland.
Same for you, Chloe. What's your prediction?
So I'm not biased at all. So
Chloe's Riley over there.
Like Andy was saying, both teams are good. Both teams have got the potential to win the game, and it is going to be a tough game, and we're going to be there to witness it. We've got our very own Jackie Groningen, who, like we've said, and like we always know, she scores in orange. We know that, and potentially she could potentially score against us, England, tomorrow when we play them.
Right, don't go too far.
And we're going to be watching this Dutch team tomorrow to see how good they are. So we're going to get that first taste of the Holland squad. And for me, their standout players are, of course, you've got your likes of Viv Miedema and Jill Lloyd and Jackie Groningen. But Danielle van der Donk, she's only just come back from a long-term injury. And she's won the Champions League. She's come. She didn't even know if she would be back playing in time for the Euros. And I think for that's a big achievement for her. So I think she can be a standout player this tournament. And obviously you've got the likes of Lika Martins, who's just left Barca to go and join PSG. So you've got them players, and then obviously in the Swedish team you've got the likes of Caroline Seger, Olivia Skull. Obviously we've already mentioned Stani Blackstenius, and you've got others that can be top players and that are top players. But for me, I'm going to say a 3-2 Holland.
Okay.
You, as a Barca girl, as a Swedish Barca player, you've just upset by not naming her.
Oh, Ovo?
Yeah. Maybe she'll remind you and she'll score against Holland. And then that'll be that.
You know what, with this game, I think it's going to be so much tighter, because when Netherlands and Sweden are playing against each other in the past, they haven't had any convincing wins. They've either had a 1-goal margin or it's been a draw. I think that's going to be the same again, knowing that Netherlands are want to keep up the reputation of being the champions. Sweden's wanting to keep that ranking as second best in the world. So I think both of them is going to be taken there into consideration. So I think that is going to be a 1-1 for Netherlands versus Sweden. I think it's going to be quite a surprising one. But then once that happens, I think it'll probably change for both them teams, to be honest. And I know we'll go into the table a little bit later on and the other games too. But yeah, I think it's going to be a 1-1, because none of them have been too convincing against each other, and there's factors for both. Blackstenius hasn't been at her best, been in the WSL. We've got as Van de Donk, who, as Chloe's touched on, coming back from her injury. The only one I think could be the ones that could be worrying is Jackie Groenen and Miedema, but it's depending for me on how Sweden do set up into that game. Hey there to Andrew, who's in the chat. I hope you're well. I Like Coffee said he likes your shirt, and
Thank you very much.
Hello there to Just Me, and Luke has asked about any women players going to the Euros from Man United. There is a few though, isn't there, Andy?
Yeah, it's quite a lot. I think that was the original justification for me to lengthen my itinerary to the whole of the UK, basically. So obviously keeping it with this group initially, Netherlands, obviously you've got Jackie Groenen. Sweden, we've not got anybody. You could argue that we could have had a lot of Oddquist, but I don't think she's made the squad from back in the day. Obviously, you know, England, you've got Tooney, Alicia Russo, Mary Earps.
Yeah.
In the larger squad, because obviously we don't know who Serena's standby players are. We had Lucy Staniforth and Katie Zellen, but she obviously didn't make the cut for the final squad.
We've got 2 players from Norway as well, of Maria.
Yeah, Norway. We've got Maria and Borisa. Trying to miss anyone? Brun in Holland, but whether or not she's still in
for Honor
is a very good question. Honor, yeah. Is that it?
I think that is it.
That is covered it. So quite a few, Luca. Quite a few we could hope if United will invest, which is a big if, to sort of maybe get some good players from the Euros. But yeah, I've got quite a few to cheer for there. So obviously Spain, Holland, Norway, Denmark, and obviously England with players of ours.
Mm-hmm. And to Ravi's question about Portugal's attack, they haven't got too many attacking players, but I think with their attack, it's depending on the teams they play against, because when they do play against weaker teams, they're very convincing wins, but I think they struggle when there is that squad with creativity. They do play in a 4-3-3 formation, so the link up is there, but I think it's about the other team's defence. Can they break that down? And we've noticed that in the likes of games such as Germany. We'll go on now onto the next game, which is Sweden versus Switzerland. I think knowing that, because I've obviously predicted a 1-1 draw for Sweden versus Netherlands, I think it's going to be a bit more of a convincing win for Sweden. The last time they played against Switzerland, it was a very comfortable 4-1. So I do think that they are going to get a couple of goals into this game, and I'm going to go for a 3-1 because I think they'll want to go and bounce back after the Netherlands game. It's a 3-1 for me for Sweden versus Switzerland. What about you, Chloe?
I think again it's gonna be a cracking game. Like you mentioned there, the last time they played each other, Sweden won 4-1. So I think for me, I think Sweden and Switzerland will both want to get them points, especially on how the Switzerland-Portugal game go. Because if that's a draw, then potentially Switzerland or Portugal will need to win the next games to be in with a chance of being first or second. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm going to go 4-0 Sweden.
And what about you, Andy?
Again, it's a hard one to realise because, I suppose I've got Switzerland winning their first game against Portugal. Portugal are the unknown in respect of, the team. Obviously, if they could turn them over, that would be a big deal. But I can't see past Switzerland. So I can't see past Sweden even. So I would, but I don't know if it's going to be heavy or not. 3-0, Sweden.
Okay, interesting one. So we've all gone for a minimum of 3 goals there for Sweden. So it's just about the clean sheet or not, isn't it? Let's go now on to the next game, which is Netherlands versus Portugal. So it's Maisy versus Chloe on this stream, let's just say. So due to that, I'm going to give Chloe the first prediction.
Oh, thanks for that, Maisy. I think it's going to be good to see him play against each. Because when was the last time Netherlands played Portugal? Do you know, Maisy?
I'm going to Google that for you now.
Yeah, she's wanting a bit more resources now to get the win, get the W. So.
So looking at it here in terms of Netherlands versus Switzerland, they've only ever played 2 games against each other. Netherlands has won both the games. They scored 10 goals. Portugal scored 2.
So yeah, so it's one of them games where Portugal will want to try and beat the European champions. They will know that this is their chance to make the shock of the tournament, to be precise. Because in every tournament, you're going to have a shock. And I've never not seen a tournament that's not been a shock, especially in group games. So I think Portugal will come out firing, especially after the game against Switzerland. But on the other hand, Netherlands are very attacking. They've got the attacking players. And they mainly line up either a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3, depending on who they play. So I think it's going to be a hard game. I don't think it's going to be a clean sheet for either teams. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 Netherlands.
Interesting. Andy, what are you going for?
Well, see, you might want to shock people. I want to have a very attractive boyfriend. Some things are very unlikely to happen, and I think it's going to be a cricket score to Holland. I think we are talking a possible demolition. And I don't know why. Maybe because Netherlands are going to be reminded if they've had lackluster performances against Sweden that if they want to win the tournament, they're actually going to have to beat people. Obviously the manager of Holland is the ex coach for the Portland Thorns. It's his first big role, obviously on the international stage. I'm getting pushed towards a number, and this number might really make me look really stupid or really really cool. 7-0 Holland.
That is, I was waiting for someone to do a bold prediction, and I had a feeling it was going to be Chloe who'd do that bold prediction.
And the reason why I think that is because me and Chloe are going to be there in the far right-hand side. It's a Category 3 ticket. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll see all 7 goals right in front of our noses. If not, I'll have to have like a telescope to look on the opposite side of the pitch for where we're actually going to be sitting. Hey, I could be totally off, but I'm getting pushed towards a number, and that's 7-0.
For me, I've gone for a 4-1 for the Netherlands. I think knowing that the Netherlands are only in 2 games, they've scored 10 goals. So that raises to me, is Portugal's defence weaker? And I've already stated, yeah, and I've stated as well before though that they're never convincing against big teams. We've seen it quite recently, so I think they will probably struggle. So I think they are going to get a minimum of 4 goals. If they do get the goal taken back, so we'll concede a goal, it's probably going to be an own goal, for instance. Looking at Portugal's attacking threat, they haven't got really no convincing strikers who is able to bang loads of goals in. So for me, 4-1 for the Netherlands. I like Coffee as a Katie Barker is very good for Newcastle. We'll probably have to look more into Newcastle. I know they're in tier 3 at the moment, so it'd be good to see a bit more of them. And to Ravi's question, Holland can win the Euros. They did last win the Euros, so they'll probably want something to prove. We'll go now on to the next game, which is Switzerland versus the Netherlands. I will go with you, Andy, on what you think the game's going to be.
It's funny because you do this you've done this over a few weeks and stuff. I have these great reasonings, and I can't wait till we do the sort of review shows, and I'll be like, "Are you on crack? What the hell did I decide that for?" You know, but maybe I'll be right or not. I don't know. I think. Yeah, again, obviously Switzerland is a stronger team than Portugal. I can't see past Holland, but maybe it's a bit more balanced, especially by game 3 in the group. I would say 2-0, 2-0 Holland.
Mm-hmm. What are you gonna go for, Chloe?
I think it's gonna be a good game. Switzerland v Holland. I think it's gonna be interesting because Holland, I think, is going to be at the top. So I think they're already going to be through. So if we think about how Switzerland have done against Sweden and against Portugal, then we're going to know, like, if they win this game, are they going to be through, or has Sweden got that chance that if they beat Portugal, they'll be through? And obviously Portugal, they could even have a chance. But I think this game is Switzerland's to lose, because I think if Switzerland lose, they're out of the tournament. So I do think it's going to be a good one, but I'm going to go with a 3-1 Netherlands.
3-1, interesting. So what I've gone for a 4-2 for the Netherlands. I was looking at it. They've scored 3-4 goals against Switzerland each time, but they always seem to concede. So I think that both sides are going to have leaky goals going about. But I think the Netherlands, they've got a much better attack in Jackie Groenen, Miedema as well. So I think they will get the job done. So I think that is going to be another 4 goal for Netherlands, but there will be some times where they will look that little bit weaker. So 4-2 for me for the Netherlands. We'll go on to the final game of the tournament of the Group C, which is Sweden versus Portugal. Portugal has only ever played once against Sweden in their entire thing. So, and when they did play against Sweden, they got battered 4-0. So I think that this game, it is going to be a tough game for Portugal, and I think they will lose by a biggish margin. I don't think it's going to be as big as 4-0, but I think Sweden will get a convincing 3 goals against them. Can't see Portugal scoring at all, so I'm going to go for a 3-0 for Sweden. Amanda, what about you?
It's funny because with that 7-0 demolition sort of moment of madness, then I need to almost up it with Sweden, who could argue as sometimes is equal to or better than Holland, but I don't think it'll be that much. It's funny because I know you mentioned with the final game, the group, Chloe, that when teams are at the top, they might want to weaken for the third game if they're already through. That's like a perennial argument. I've heard people say there benefits on both of that because there is a benefit of momentum. And if you keep your top players in and you keep going and going, you get momentum into the quarters. Whereas if you do put in not reserves, but your more fringe 23, then sometimes they can fall in the first hurdle on the quarterfinals. I think it's interesting. I think the point that was made that actually, though Sweden have a very high ranking, they haven't won the Euros for a long, long time. So have they got a high ranking just because of consistency? Whereas in a tournament, you need to obviously just win, essentially. But that said, I think 4-1 to Sweden.
4-1 to Sweden. Chloe, what about you?
I think this is going to be a tough game for Portugal, and it's going to be I think this is going to be Sweden's best game, in my eyes. I think Sweden will come out knowing that they've got to win the game to be second behind Netherlands, and that if they lose or draw, potentially Switzerland could beat them to getting into that next round. So, before we even came up to this game, I had a score prediction in my head, and I'm going to stick with it.
Oh.
I'm going to go with a 5-0 Sweden.
So that's your 7-0, isn't it? That's your.
We've all gone for bold predictions today. Chloe with a 5-0 to Sweden. Andy with his 7-0 for Netherlands versus Portugal. What's that for Portugal?
Because we're stretching our knowledge a little bit with this group. I think it's pretty obvious, but hopefully, the funny thing about this and the fact we've seen so many games is that by the end of the Euros, not only should we have some fantastic memories and fantastic times, we should hopefully increase our knowledge vastly on these teams as well. I'm looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. My poll prediction, though, was for Portugal to win against Switzerland. Let's hope that I'm going to go with the dark horse one anyway. I Like Coffee has gone 3-3 Netherlands versus Portugal. That is going to be extremely interesting if that does happen. I Like Coffee has said Portugal win the group, go Portugal. I Like Coffee, yes. Hey there to Reese, I hope you're well. He's going for 4-2 Sweden, Netherlands versus Portugal, 6-3 to Holland. Wow. Wow. That is a tough one. So we'll go on to our table predictions now. My table prediction I've gone for is Sweden to finish first, based off goal difference, because I've had a couple of leaky goals there for the Netherlands. Netherlands to finish in second, Portugal to finish third because they did get that win against Switzerland, and I've gone for fourth place for Switzerland. We'll go with your table prediction now for Chloe.
I think that, so I've kind of looked at it in a way that who do I want to watch at the Sports Village in the quarterfinal?
Mm-hmm.
So I've gone for Netherlands in first, Sweden second, Switzerland third, Portugal fourth. But I would like to see Portugal prove me wrong. I'm not going to lie. I would like to see them prove me wrong in some of the scores I've said.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Andy?
I think it's a slam dunk, personally. I think it's going to be Holland Netherlands, obviously. Netherlands, Sweden, Switzerland. Switzerland and Portugal.
So you've basically gone for the exact same as Chloe then for the one. So you and Chloe's gone for the exact same table, and I've gone for Portugal to finish third, just because I'm getting that a little bit optimistic.
Yeah, I think the problem is where there's two such stronger teams. I mean, you think about tournaments, pots normally, or Champions League when it draws pot 1, pot 2. You basically got pot 1, pot, two pot 1 teams almost, and probably teams that would be knocking around pot 3 and pot 4. Yeah. So I think that's it. I like to be a bit contrary because it'll make it more interesting. If we're not the same, then one of us is going to be up or down when we tally this up. But I think for me anyway, it will be Netherlands, Sweden, Switzerland, and Portugal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they both have two cracking teams as well. It's a bit like how it was for the England one. It's a 2-horse race basically. Who's gonna finish first out of them both, and the other two, it's about who's gonna finish third because it goes straight to the quarter. So both third and fourth are gonna be out anyway, isn't it? So I think it's just exactly like Group A. I think Group D is gonna be the more interesting one anyway. It's not going to be as interesting as what we've done already with Group B, but I think that's still going to be an interesting one. Reese has gone for Holland, then Sweden, Portugal, then Switzerland. So the exact same one what I've gone for. We'll go with our GOAT, who is going to be the player who's going to definitely score from this group. And we'll go with you first, Ander.
Oh, I thought Chloe was going to get that first. I mean, to be fair, there's two obvious candidates that you would possibly put money on, and they both play for different teams. So if I pick one, I don't feel too bad because I'm sure Chloe will pick the other. But the first one I'd say is Vivianne Miedema.
Mm-hmm. Is that the one you're going for?
Yeah.
And what about you, Chloe?
Well, that was the one I was going for, but I'm going to change mine now.
You have to hide your Dutch badge when you say it, though.
I'm actually going to go with Lieke Martens.
What, Liverpool's finest? Isn't she moved to Liverpool?
That's Van der Sanden.
Oh, is it?
Lieke Martens is the Barcelona player, isn't it?
Oh, God, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
I think Chloe feels a bit insulted there.
I don't think it's Chloe I've insulted. It's Lisa Martin. I do apologise officially online.
So yeah, my score, I think the person who will score for the most in the group will be Lieke.
Yeah, I've gone the exact same approach as Ander, and I've gone for Vivianne Miedema. I think Miedema, she's been so good in terms of form, so I couldn't put her past to score. The only other one I was thinking that would potentially score was Jackie Groenen. That was the only two that I actually had in mind.
What about Senior Baxtinius? That was the one I thought you'd go for.
Who that again? Who's Baxtinius again? I don't remember her, to be honest. Chloe, did you have any other players you had in mind?
Yeah, she plays for Sweden, and it's Aslania. Who's just left Real Madrid. So for me, I think she could be a dark horse in terms of scoring because she's actually a forward, but in the Panini sticker book, she's actually listed as a midfielder. So for me, she could be a dark horse in that she can shoot from range. She's a good player in the box, and so she could be a dark horse. But obviously, I'm going to stick with Lieke Martens because I've watched her for Barca, and now she's off to PSG.
I was just looking at Sweden as well. They've got so many winning mentality players from Atletico Madrid, PSG, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Juventus. They've recently won the league as well. Arsenal as well, Real Madrid.
Rosengard, who's one of the best teams in Sweden as well. They've got the Caroline Sager, who's captain. So, you've got potential there that they could even surprise us by winning the group.
That is very, very true. Yeah. So out of the ones we've done so far, I'll go with you, Chloe. Which group are you most looking forward to seeing?
Out of the ones we've done, without obviously doing Group D, which I'm looking forward to doing next week. I think B is my favourite at the minute because one, it's the group of death, and two, you just can't predict. Especially now that we know Jenny Hermoso isn't playing for Spain for the Euros. It's going to be one of them that has Spain got a forward that is that potential of Jenny in scoring the goals, in being a captain, in being up front and coming back if needed into midfield and stuff. So that can pave the way of Denmark maybe getting closer. So that group for me, that's the one that I'm definitely looking forward to watching. And yeah.
What about you, Ander? Which group are you most looking forward to so far?
Firstly, I'd like to commend Chloe for getting through that without getting emotional, because I know Jenny Hermoso is close to your heart. I think you've just annoyed half of Spain though, because I think there is a lot of forwards that are going, yep. Actually, yeah, we have. I know Alexia is more midfield, but I'm sure she will. Unfortunately, it's just so obvious. It is B, it is Group B. Germany, Spain, Brentford. That could be the game of the tournament. Never mind. The game of the group. It's just going to be smack bang full of talent. But in saying that, we're English, and when you've got more invested in the game, as you know, we're United, a game's better because you're emotionally more invested. So, actually, is it going to be Group A? Are we going to get more involved and have some of the shocks there? But I think you can't look past Group B. What about you, Maisy?
Well, for who I am, obviously being an England fan, I'd have to go for Group A. But as a neutral perspective, you'd also have to go with Group B, even Group C. What we've just done, because I'm actually looking forward to seeing a lot more different talents, what we haven't seen before, just to see on how each team is. So yeah, I think it's going to be 100% one of them three groups, but from a neutral point of view, I'd have to go for either Group B or Group C. I Like Coffee has gone for Portugal, Netherlands, Sweden, and Switzerland in terms of his predictions. Reese has said the heavyweights in Germany and Spain and Denmark will cause a concern for me. And lastly, from behind Finland, it's got to be Group B for him. So we will wrap it up now. Thank you, Chloe, and thank you, Andy, for both coming on. Would you like to shout your socials, Chloe?
Yeah, my social for Twitter is Chloe Riley 14. Thanks for having me on, Maisy. It's been fantastic. And I look forward to doing the final group next week.
Oh, yeah, it will be absolutely fun. And Ander, would you like to shout out your socials also?
Yeah, obviously mainly on here these days as well, but also at AJO_87. Tomorrow, though, me and Chloe and a few others were looking forward to seeing England and Holland at Ellen Road. As United fans, I figured I'd make a record of this in case they don't come out alive, because I know Leeds can smell United fans from 500 miles away. But no, hopefully being England, it'll be all right. But first time at Ellen Road, and in and out maybe, hopefully for an England win. Though bizarrely, I don't know if you noticed, apparently it's been announced that England will wear their away kit, which looks like Holland, and Holland's away kit is white. So it's going to be really confusing if someone else. I'll just click over and have a look and see. Who's
that? Is it Portugal? Are we playing Netherlands or is that England?
And of course, the hilarious thing is, just to carry on the pattern, maybe this is what we got the theme from. The Dutch coach is English, and the English coach is Dutch. So, great one, guys. Well done. We'll find out.
Wow, that is just madness. Absolute madness, to be honest. See you later, I Like Coffee. Hey there, Diego. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Reese has said, brilliant Portugal shirt. Thank you. Lovely Dutch shirt. Chloe and Andy looking sharp in the polo. We've got Soph in the chat. Hey there, Soph. I hope you're well. Thank you for tuning in. Hey there, Too Static. Great show. I've been back and forth, very busy at the moment. Yes, definitely come on, England. Thank you so much for tuning in, Static. So we'll leave it here for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you all very soon. It's a goodbye from now.